Well, hello, free people of the Rocky Mountain region. This is Brandon from Free State, Colorado. Hope you're doing well. Wanted to share with you this a great article that just came out, really highlighting the failure of the Denver government and its inability to keep the city safe, to keep the businesses in business. And it's an absolute disaster right now. And some restaurateurs are speaking up, thankfully. So check this article out from the Denver Gazette. February 16th, 2025. In a letter to Mayor Mike Johnston, Denver restaurants say they are now watching downtown fall completely apart. Wow. I don't know about you, but if you've been to downtown Denver recently, I think you'd probably agree with that statement. I recommend you go down there at night, and you might not want to stay too long, but check it out. If your kids are misbehaving, you can do a little scared straight moment, take them down to downtown Denver at night and let them see kids. If you do drugs, if you end up making bad decisions in your life, this is where you could end up. So it's that bad, folks. You got to go check it out. Here's the article. Several Denver restaurants said they are at a boiling point with the state of downtown. In a letter to Mayor Mike Johnston and city leaders sent last week, Dave Quarry, owner of Jack's Fish House and Oyster Bar, expressed frustrations with the mayor, noting he had promised on the campaign trail to turn downtown around. Several other major restaurateurs in downtown Denver signed on to Curry's letter, including owners from Illegal Pete's, Cholon Restaurant Concepts, and Union Station's restaurant operators. Quote, "You ran your entire campaign platform on restoring our downtown Denver business districts," Curry said in a letter. "It has gotten worse since you took the position of mayor, even though you have received $550 million towards stewarding it in a different direction." Wow. The Boulder-based chef behind BRF Restaurant Group said downtown's traffic plan and new bike paths implemented in the last 2 years have taken up parking spaces and made it more difficult for customers to come to their businesses. In addition, food trucks are taking parking spots and bringing in more competition, he said. He also pointed to a series of stabbings on 16th Street Mall over a January weekend when two people were killed and two injured. Quote, "This is the current vibe and energy on our downtown streets, and our longtime Lodo and Larimer guests are now driving to Cherry Creek, Northfield, and Golden for dinner and entertainment," Corey wrote. "We are watching the 10th district fall completely apart. The entire downtown traffic plan and bike path cluster implemented over the last 2 years is a catastrophic disaster." 100%. Like I said, I encourage you to go down there. I was down there recently at the convention center, and yeah, it's not a place you really want to take your family, I'll tell you that much. Let's look at that Jack's Oyster Bar and Fish House. So there it is right here off 17th and Wazee, really close to the Union Station. So kind of this central area of downtown. But check it out. Here's they got this like bike path thing here going on. Here's some of what I want to show you a little bit about what they're talking about if you haven't been down there. So here's some people biking, right? So look at this. This is more and more common down in Denver, where you're seeing these dedicated bike lanes, and those used to be parking spots. Let's look on Google Maps. Let's go back a couple years. Wow, look at that. Here's August 2021. Look at all that parking. Parking's so hard in downtown Denver already. You have to pay an arm and a leg to get into a parking lot that are not well maintained. And then you're telling me I can't park on the street? Sure, there's even meters there. You got to pay for it. But look at this. Boom. Compare that to now. So you had all those. Now you have three spots on this block, three spots to park, one of which has a traffic sign on it. So maybe only two spots, hard to tell. And look how many cars you had parked there before. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. At least seven cars parked there. And now those parking spots are gone. Those parking spots are gone. So this is that Jack's. Just wanted to show you what's changed over the years down in Denver. And this has been a trend. I've been really thinking a lot about how they're getting rid of parking. Everybody drives. People who are visiting some of these restaurants or going to see a show or go to the convention center, they're going to drive down to Denver. They're not necessarily living across the street. Those people are already walking there. They don't need necessarily dedicated bike lanes specifically. But I also want to point this out. Gen X Jen did a little breakdown here on that Gazette article. It says, "What's destroying downtown's restaurants? New traffic bus bike plan is a catastrophic disaster, 100%. Crime, 100%. Regulations, high cost, 100%. Guess what issues DPD says create our perception of crime? Narcotics, shoplifting, damaging property. Until the utopians took over, those were crimes. Here, in reality, those things, plus an inability to drive and park downtown, make places like Cherry Creek a much more attractive destination. Solving these problems doesn't take millions, it takes leadership. Undoing the crazy bus bike takeover, policing, and a justice system that enforces consequences. Definitely, I really wanted to share her comments there because she hit the nail on the head. Couldn't say it better than that. And she highlighted this little line from the article here. This is from Denver Police Department there. It says, addressing issues that help reduce the perception of crime. So yeah, there's crime's going down, they keep saying, but it's the perception of crime that's really the problem. I mean, come on, folks, give me a break. These restaurants do not live on perception. They are living in reality of seeing their bottom line through the floor, not able to meet their expenses. Restaurants are closing like crazy. And I do got to say, it's a lot of it is these bike lanes. Here's another article that's so related to this. Denver Gazette, February 14th. Denver transportation officials agree to scale back neighborhood bikeway measures. Park Hill residents complained loudly about bollards and other traffic slowing measures on the Kearney Camaria Bikeway. And thankfully, the city is at least starting to listen a little bit. A group of Denver residents seeking to slow the city's roll on a Hill neighborhood bikeway project got their wish Thursday morning. Yeah, it's crazy. There's 70 bollards along Kearney Street that residents complained at a previous neighborhood meeting. The excessive number, highly reflective tape and paint impacts curb appeal, illuminates living rooms at night as cars drive by. Check this out. Other concerns centered around pinch points designed to slow traffic, but according to some residents, created a dangerous game of chicken with motorists as cyclists are forced off the bikeway and back into traffic. I mean, they got speed bumps. They're just trying to make it hard to drive because they have this utopian fantasy that everybody's just going to start using bikes. Everybody's going to take mass transit. Give me a break. It's not going to happen. Mass transit's not safe. It's not convenient. Nobody wants to be out there walking around these streets at night anyway. And you can only ride your bike in these areas half of the year. You're not down there now. You're in January or December, or in February. So wanted to really bring that up. And just check this out. Here's another example here. Here's the Denver website talking about their wonderful Broadway project they completed last year with this two-way protected bikeway on Broadway. So let's just take a look. Give people an example of what's going on. So let's flash back to 2021. Here's Broadway. You're down here on 2nd and Broadway, heavily trafficked area, lots of businesses, restaurants, things like that. At least there used to be. So check this out. You got one, two, three, four lanes of traffic, 4 lanes of traffic and parking on either side. Now, population's blown up in Denver. People are driving like crazy. Traffic's gotten bad. Well, guess what? The city is making the traffic even worse. Look at that. Wide open, plenty of room, 4 lanes of traffic on this one-way street, parking on either side. You want to go to Walgreens, you want to go to this liquor store, you want to go wherever you want. Great. Now let's flash back down here to June 2024, this year. All right, well, here you go. You're down to 3 lanes. Down to 3 lanes. You got a turn lane here. Now, I guess there is still some parking. They put parking out in the middle of the street, which, people are driving like crazy down Broadway. And then you got this protected bike lane nobody uses right there. So now you're down to 3 lanes. You're losing parking. You're losing the ability for people to drive. Sure, you still got some over there, but losing a lane on a busy road can seriously, seriously have an impact there. So just wanted to point out another example here of going from 4 lanes to 3 lanes is not progress, folks. It's moving us in the wrong direction. And then guess what they're trying to do on East Colfax? This bus rapid transit system. They're copying these ideas from other cities where there's been some successes and a lot of failures. So here we go. Here's a recent photo of Colfax. You can see 2 lanes now because they're building all this construction here. What did Colfax look like before for people who don't know? Well, here we are by the state capitol. You can see that Capitol in the background. Well, look at this. 2 lanes on either side. And on the south side here, you got parking. So easy to drive down in that area. 2 lanes, parking. You got some turn lanes. You got a lot of opportunity to find places to park, to drive. It's a little bit more convenient. Now look back now. Here's the photo from January of this year. You're going to have 2 lanes for the construction portion of it. Don't get me wrong. But here's their plan overall. Here is their plan of what they want to do with this East Colfax, a center running bus rapid transit system. Now, I know this is a little late to the party with this information. This plans have been talked about for years, but you got basically 1 lane of traffic on either side. So you're cutting in half. Instead of 2 lanes, you're going down to 1 lane on each side. You're making it a lot harder for people to navigate through Colfax. And I got to tell you, not a lot of people who are going to be shopping and going to restaurants down there are taking that bus. Just the reality of it. Unless you make the buses a lot safer and a lot different, folks. But it's a disaster in the making, and there's definitely some serious concerns. I mean, you got to check out these articles. I'll have everything linked at freestatecolorado.com. Excuse me, this Denver Post article. But there's been some disasters, and a lot of people are worried about it. Here's the article. In October of last year, Denver began construction on its own BRT project. The bus lines, which are quickly becoming one of the most popular transit pursuits in the country, create train-like systems that promise fast, frequent, and reliable transportation but aren't nearly as expensive to build as rail. Well, that is true. Denver city officials hope the nearly 10-mile project, which will unfold mostly along East Colfax Avenue, will improve the city's transit options for residents, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and alleviate a congested corridor. Well, sure, it's not going to be congested anymore if there's no place to drive. There's no businesses to go visit. The neighboring businesses, some of which are already feeling the pain from smashed up pavement, intensified traffic, and fewer parking spots, are worried about enduring the construction long enough to see the promised benefits. And so the article goes through some people here who are having some concerns about that, of course, because there is going to be some concern there. And then, of course, the city is going to have to subsidize some of these businesses. Grants from the city will soon be available, but local owners fear the limited allowances won't do much to save small shops with shoestring budgets. So there you go. It's not going to work. $280 million, 3 more years to build, be like Cleveland and Seattle. So really concerned about this, folks. You can see another picture there. You're going to cut down traffic basically to 1 lane on each side and then buses in the middle. I mean, who's going to want to drive down there? Not really anybody. So yeah, bad news, folks, but just wanted to point this out. And of course, this hubris and this idea that these people can centrally plan their way into utopian society. It's doomed to fail. It's a bad decision. And this whole agenda of putting bike lanes, getting rid of cars. I mean, you're going to just see businesses shut down. You're going to see a death spiral incur because businesses are going to struggle. There goes your tax revenue. Now there's less money for services as more businesses leave, and it's just a bad situation there. So keep an eye on it, folks. Get involved. You can see some victories here, so I want to leave you with that sense of optimism. Hey, if you get involved with your local city, they're making some differences in this one neighborhood at least there. But there we go, folks. Denver's falling completely apart unless the people speak up and get involved. So thank you very much. Take care.